Page 28, we need a little Christmas. 4/4 time signature in the key of G major. It's got one sharp. All the F's are going to be F sharp. It's got some accidentals all over the place too. Look out. Let's talk about first the right hand. At the beginning, when the right hand comes in, thumb on the B, and forget a 5-finger position. That's out. Your hands are going to move all over. Just follow their fingering, and I'll have a few suggestions. So here, a thumb on the B, and then 2 on the D, and then here. If I take all those notes at one time, that's the chord. It is a G chord extended position in first inversion is all it is. And that's the fingering for it, so it makes sense that I would use that fingering here too. So here, here, and here. 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You stay. Third line, now third finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then lift up and go down. 2, 3. Actually, it should be the 4th finger on the F sharp. And then it's the same rhythm with these notes. Now let's go up to the top of page 29. The last 3 measures of the first line there. It's 1, 2. Now let's keep in mind that this is a fairly fast song. This is going to move. This song normally is in cut time. They got it in 4/4, it's fine, we can deal with it. But these repeated notes on a fast piece don't work very well, especially with a little finger. So I'm going to recommend we use other fingers here, and it's 5 on the first one, but then I want to use a 1, 3, 1, and then a 5 on the last. So I'm using the 5 on the first and the last, but then a 3 and a 1 on the others. So it's 5, 1, 3, 1, 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Same thing in the next measure. It's 5 and then 1, 3, 1. 5 on the last one. Next measure, same fingering. And I'm going to recommend the same fingering all the way through this when you have these repeated notes, wherever they are. Because you get it in the 3rd line too. And then the 4th line's not so bad. If you come up with some other fingering that works for you, go for it. But this piece moves. So if it's a wrist action here, not finger. You go bum, 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 bum. How fast can you do it? I just don't like using the same finger all the time. I would prefer. There's a number of fingering possibilities here. I make that suggestion, but if you want some other fingering, then go for it, because it's a personal thing. But somehow you got to play that accurately and quickly. So it's up to you. Now look at the last line on page 29. This is tricky here. They're saying 2, 3, 1. And then a 2, that doesn't work. You can do the 2, 3, 1, but on that D, use 3 or 4, either one. 4 is better, because then you can reach the 2, the F sharp with the 2nd finger. And then thumb. So it's here, 2, 3, 1, 4. My hand is basically in this position. I'm just using the thumb on the C. It's like in a scale you bring it. And then you can thumb, and then for the last chord you can do 2, 5 or 1, 5, either one, and that's staccato, wrist staccato. For the left hand, you got broken chords, and the melodies in the right hand, so the left hand has to stay soft. So here at the beginning, it's like that boogie woogie pattern we've had a few times. And the 2nd line, last 2 measures, you're up here. 3rd line, in the 2nd measure you're here, and the 3rd measure you got to come down here. No easy way to do that. You just know where you are and where you need to go, and you're just going to do it quickly. You have to practice that. And now in the 4th measure over on that line, you may want to do a 5, 3, 2 if you don't want to put a thumb on the F sharp. And then in the last note on that line, I recommend a third finger on that E, because that way you can do a 4-2 on the next chord. See, otherwise you're here. And that's okay too if you don't mind that on the last line of page 28. If you don't mind a 3-1 on that chord, then you can use second finger for the last note on the previous line. But otherwise, do a 3 on the other one, then a 4-2 here, and then you're ready to go on. Top of page 29, here, F naturals. And again, for the last note of the second measure, I recommend a third finger, and then you can do a 4-2, and then go down. And then going on, the last two measures of that line, that chord, it's a 4 chord is all. And then a 5-7 chord, 1 chord, you got all that good. Go down to the next to the last line on page 29. Here, I recommend a 3-2 here, if you can. The chord right before this is here. And if you can do a 3-2 there, that's fine. If not, then you have to do a 2-1, not a 3-1. I don't know why they want a 3-1 there. That's awkward. Just 2-1 or a 3-2, whichever. Then in the last line, you're here, and I recommend, if you can, do a 3-2 here, and that puts you a little closer to where you want to be. Yeah. Then the last note at the end, that G is an 8/8 under it, so you got to come down here. Staccato. Then you put the hands together. So at the beginning of this, and the first 4 measures is just an introduction, and it's left, right, left, right. And then you're here. Careful at the end of page 28, that last note, the left hand has a rest. Make sure that A is by itself. So by itself, at the top of page 29, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So watch the rhythm there on some of these measures. Look at the last measure, the first line. The right hand has a quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4. The left hand has a rest 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're not together. Watch out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're not together. And then here. Up to the reverse repeat sign at the top of page 28. That's why there's 2 sets of words, so 2 verses. Let's go back to 29. At the bottom, you're here. Watch these rests in the left hand. We need to hear them. Like so. That was kind of fast. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, because this is a fast piece. I mean, this piece moves. You can find plenty of recordings of this around. It's now dynamic-wise, it's loud at the beginning, and this is a happy piece. So generally, it's loud overall. But as you get to know it, you can start thinking about getting louder and softer in certain places. Now, if you're going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? So don't get carried away with it, but it's fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, all that worked out, it may not be up to speed yet, but you got the notes and the fingering worked out like you want, and you kind of got an idea of the dynamics, and you can play the melody louder than everything else. Then we can add the pedal. So let's talk about the pedal. You can pedal it like they're telling you to pedal it pretty much. So at the beginning, you're not pedaling the first 4 measures. We don't want to blur any of this. Then at the last measure, you put the pedal down right after you play the notes. You change the pedal at each measure after you play the notes. We want to hear some silence in the 3rd measure of the 2nd line. There, before you go on. So you have to lift the pedal up right there. As you play that first beat in that measure, that left hand, lift the pedal up. So the 2nd line is here. Again, the same thing at the bottom of the page, or yeah, the first. Lift the pedal up as you play that so we can get silence in the right hand. So we hear the phrase. So the last measure of the 3rd line is here. So, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually like their pedaling markings here. I'm going to pedal it exactly the way they're saying. It's not blurry. They're holding it down at the right times for the overtones and everything. I like this. This is very nice. Yeah, so pedal it just like they're saying to. Now, I'd like to go over it with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do dynamics, any of that. Just play it real slow to check the notes and the rhythms. So put your hands where they go and the foot's on the pedal. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. One, two, three. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 2, 1. Rest, rest, rest.